Hello, my name is Ivana Beck and I'm a sculptor from Serbia. I lived in America for the past 17 years. Currently, I teach art at Wake Community College. I got my degrees, both undergraduate and graduate, from University of Greensboro. You can see my works at CMAC Gallery in Downtown Raleigh, 300 Blake Street. I have some of my sculptures and some of my drawings there as well. This is an artist collective made of 11 very talented and very well accomplished artists, and I'm so happy to be there with them, sharing the same space, sharing our artistic wisdom with all of you. And we also have every month guest artists. So I think I would like to invite you to come and check out their work as well as ours. Let me show you some of my older work that I have made in undergraduate and graduate school. There are different materials that I experimented with as I was learning. So for example, wood, you notice wood, plaster, there is a woven vinyl, which I will show you in a second. And then gradually I came upon wax and brick. As you can see, there are a lot of plaster experimentation with the plaster wax. And as I was mentioning, woven vinyl, this is one piece that I made out of the woven vinyl. And the reason why is it looking a little bit different here is because this is also a time when I'm starting to use wax. So I'm coating with a wax so that I have not only to add the structural structure to the pieces because they're very soft, but also to add this interesting shine. So as you can tell, I'm separately experimenting with brick and wax, and then at a certain point in time, when everything clicks together, they come together as well. So this is my dog Henry, and he's a regular studio visitor. Over here we have this piece, which is one of the first pieces that I made in the ground in my backyard. So I really wanted to feel a little more freedom from the molds that I was making, so I decided to actually dig a hole in the backyard and pour the wax in there. But as time goes by, I really, because the wax is symbolic in my work, wax is symbolic of the body, and as we all know, we can control. Sometimes we try to control our bodies, but many times our bodies, for one reason or another, do what they need to do, right? They change. And so that kind of thinking is what I'm applying here as well. So I'm okay with things shifting and changing. Hello, we're here in my outside studio where I make my sculptures. Today I'm going to make sculpture that resembles this form. I also, as I'm expanding my search for the different materials, and I'm typically looking for something that is plastic or rubber, something that would easily peel off from the wax. Another thing that I came along was, that I found was this cooking sheet. But today I want to use this rubber. This is a pure rubber. And right now I'm here next to my pot for warming the wax, and I already put some wax inside. I want to show you, I'm going to reuse some wax that I already have. This wax, it's paraffin wax, and it's already have pulverized brick in it. Ultimately, if I'm in a hurry, I would use smaller chunks. And I just broke this piece, slammed it on the ground and broke these little pieces. That's when I'm in a hurry, that's how I do it. But otherwise, since I'm not in a hurry right now and I have other stuff to do, like making the holes in the brick and some other stuff in preparation to make the sculpture, I'm going to put this in, close it up, and turn my temperature to 180. I don't know if you can see, but it's a beautiful, beautiful color, and it's a different color on both of these pieces. I don't know, Lily, if you don't mind zooming in so they can see.
Yeah, I did all the way.
Okay, how beautiful it is, and different colors are in play here. So I'm starting already on my threaded rods. I already shaped one, and it's in here, inside. I'm going to cut this one over here so that I can fit it in this hole. So I'm estimating over here roughly. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do this with my bolt cutter. I'm gonna cut over here. You can do this different ways. I'm probably not doing the right way. This is not good, or I'm gonna break the brick. Okay, so. Success. As you can see here, I'm going to bend this one. So make sure this is. Alright, here we go. It's nice little pressure, not all immediately. Just slowly. Oh, neighbor's kids are awake. Okay. Okay, let's see. Maybe just a little more. I can smell the wax warming up. Can you, Lily?
Yeah.
Okay, so things are happening. So I did a little bit more over here. Let's see. Ultimately, I want to have both curves being this, going sort of in the same slope. And this becomes important later when I start putting the metal sheeting around. Sometimes if they're a little bit off, they can touch the metal sheeting. And as I said previously, as the wax, when I pour the wax, and wax when it dries, it shrinks. So that way sometimes this wire gets exposed, which is not that big of a deal. For some works well. For others, maybe I don't want to be seen. So in this case, I don't want to see it. I don't want it to be seen. You don't want this. This is exactly the way I want it to be. So I don't want the wire being kind of cutting on something on the brick. I want it to be sort of loose like this. And so that's great. So if you look at here, this is the shape I wanted. And I'm going to show you, okay, this is the way it's going to be when I pour the wax. Now, this is when it's done, this is the way it should be. Okay, so this is the way. So actually, I'm glad that this one is sitting down because that will give more support. But this one is on the edge and end up looking really much longer than I actually anticipated, but that's okay. I'm getting ready to glue these rods inside of the brick. This is a specialty adhesive, anchoring adhesive. It's good to have some old long nail to sort of push the material in, the glue, this adhesive actually. I have a brick over here that is holding this other brick in the way I want it to be standing, so without the moving. So first I'm going to put this out here. I want to make sure that my rubber here doesn't touch the wire. Okay, that happens sometimes and it's fine, but this time I want to make sure it doesn't touch the wire. The next thing I want to do is I want to put this metal sheeting on the outside, and the reason for it is so that my wax, when I pour in, doesn't leak out. So this is going to hold the wax in place as I'm pouring. So this is a little bit tricky, but once I use my clamps, it's going to be all in place and ready for pouring. So this piece goes on inside, so the other piece goes on the outside. Just remember, I have two sides. I'm creating the space in here where I'm going to pour the wax. And wax is, by the way, it's been ready for a while now, but I wasn't. Again, on this side, I also want to make sure that the wire doesn't touch the sheeting. Although, again, if it touches, it's not a big deal. Here, I'm pushing. Ultimately, it's good to have gloves because this is very sharp, but I'm going to push this down and make sure it's staying that way. Creating my little mold, and the next step is to use the clay and close up the gaps all around, and then pour the wax. I'm stirring it out a little bit. I just turned it off. It's probably around 100 Fahrenheit, and that's pretty hot. So I'm stirring it up because typically brick powder settles down on the bottom, so I want to stir it up and make sure it's kind of all over. Although as I pour in too, it settles down on the bottom here and kind of gives nice gradation in color at the end. So I have my witch stick. I'm missing the hat. Okay, so this is the exciting part because I had to do a lot of work to come to this point. This part I'm typically tired because I have to really push this clay. My hands are very tired because I really have to push clay hard against the brick, so I make sure there are no gaps left. And so now I have these 2 or 3 clumps of clay just in case things start going south. And in that case, I'm just going to try to close those gaps. Hopefully that's not going to happen. You probably also notice these 3 bricks on top. These are additional precautionary measures that I like to take, which I discovered as I'm working with this. So this additionally adds the weight and pushes metal down, so it keeps it from, again, wax leaking. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a smaller amount. I'm going to go around and pour, and then typically this is making me always nervous because when I pour the first time and it's hot, and as I'm waiting to settle down, the wax kind of settling down, I can see it's moving. I'm looking for bubbles because that means that there's air somewhere and it will start leaking. Of course I don't want that. So I kind of give maybe 30 seconds kind of loop here. Sometimes if I don't have enough wax, I use styrofoam to fill the space too. Makes it lighter. And another interesting thing that I noticed is, as I'm pouring, if I keep pouring at one spot, it will, when the piece is done and ready and I lift it up, you can see nice little sort of, not texture, but nice little, how can I say this, interesting sort of pattern and a nice little spot where I pour the wax. It's almost like a little drawing. If everything goes well tonight, tomorrow I will open up and reveal the sculpture. Here we are again in the process of revealing the sculpture. As you can see, I have pulled some and we have very nice texture going on here. I'm trying to take some extra pieces on the outside of the wax. This is making easier for me to, as I'm pulling. I'm going to show you. I really have to go slow and it's really stuck, really pretty hard. And you can see here that some parts are coming easier than the others, but typically when the first one got broken up, then all of the others come along pretty fine. Here we are at the end of the process and the beginning of the new life for this piece. I'm pretty happy the way it came out. I would like to thank Downtown Raleigh Alliance and First Friday for giving me the opportunity to make this piece and show my process. So please come over for our First Friday at CMAC downtown, 300 Blake Street. I hope I will be able to bring this piece so that you can see it. Come and check us out. Thank you.